Tribal people opposed to UCC plan protests. While the debate on the Uniform Civil Code UCC has once again been centered around whether religious minorities can continue following their respective personal laws, any framework for the UCC, which is to govern as aspects of marriage, divorce, child custody, and inheritance is bound to run into conflict with the customary laws and practices of a varied number of tribal communities as well. Even as Islamic bodies which have codified personal law have opposed the proposal, tribal bodies in states like Jharkhand, Meghalaya, and Nagaland have taken a similar position, insisting that it would infringe upon their customary laws of marriage, divorce, inheritance, and transfer of land. Mobilizing opposition. फूलचंद ठिरके टिरके of the केंद्रीय शरण समिति, an Adivasi body in Jharkhand, said, "Our tribal customs do not grant women the right to inherit property." we have Our tribal customs do not grant women the right to inherit property. We have no system of dowry. If any form of UCC comes into play, the property ownership will be affected. And then women will also be able to claim dowry harassment, which might lead to more complex problems in the tribal villages. Mr. Turkey added that a meeting in Ranchi had already been held to discuss ways of mobilizing the opposition to the UCC. We are now discussing how to plan protests and demonstrations against the UCC, and this will become clear in the coming weeks, he said. In addition to this, sub-tribes within larger tribal groups tend to have their own set of separate customary laws for marriage, divorce, and child custody, prompting tribal activists to say that any attempt to bring uniformity in civil procedure will by default trigger opposition from one tribe or the other. Alok Shukla, a prominent tribal activist based in Chhattisgarh, said, "There is already a separate tribal platform being formed for the upcoming state elections. And given the noise around UCC currently, opposition to it is bound to become a key poll plank. There are more than 700 recognized tribes in India. तो देर आर मोर देन 700 रिकॉग्नाइज्ड ट्राइब्स इन इंडिया. 700 से ज़्यादा भारत में ट्राइब्स हैं, ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज़ हैं. ऑल ऑफ all of whom have their own set of customary laws and practices governing aspects of civil and sometimes criminal disputes. And while uncodified in several tribal dominated states, there are protected by the these are protected by the constitution under the 6th schedule in articles 371A through 371I, or have been recognized through judicial decisions. For instance, Article 371A of the Constitution mandates that no act of parliament shall be applicable to Nagaland. So 371A is related to the Nagaland. With respect to the religious or social practices of the Nagas, Naga customary law and procedure, administration of civil and criminal justice involving decision according to Naga customary law, and ownership and transfer of land and its resources, unless allowed by the legislature of the state. A similar provision is enshrined the Mizoram as well in Article 371G. Furthermore, as per the 6th schedule, districts, councils, and regional councils, essentially the executive, have the right to adjudicate on a varied set of civil and criminal procedures based on their customary laws and practices. The 21st Law Commission has also noted this in 2018 consultative paper on the reform of family law, pointing out there several tribes in states like Nagaland, Assam, Meghalaya, and vehemently protested the idea of a UCC because of this. Similarly, judicial precedents have recognized customary laws around inheritance of land for tribes such as the Santhal and Oraon. In one such case relating to a property dispute within a Santhal family, the Jharkhand High Court had in 2018 recognized the Santhal Pargana custom of according the status of adoptions son of the husbands of three women who were married under the Ghar Jamai system, thereby letting the women inherit their father's property through their respective husbands. The largely tribe based allies of the BJP have taken a stand against the bid to impose the UCC. BJP allies against UCC. A day after the Nationalist Democratic Progressive Party aired its strong, firm opinion against the UCC, the National People's Party (NPP) said a common set of personal laws on adoption, marriage, divorce, inheritance, adoption, and succession would be against the idea of India. The NDPP and NPP are the dominant allies of the BJP in Nagaland and Meghalaya, respectively. India is a diverse nation characterized by unity in diversity. Our party believes that the UCC would be against the very idea of India. Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangama, also the NPP's national president, said on Friday. He cited the example of the three major communities Garo, Khasi, and Jaintia of Meghalaya, which are matri- matrilineal. It has been the strength of our culture and cannot be changed. He said, adding that he would be in better position to dissect the UCC if he gets access to its draft with inputs from Rahul Karmakar.